Oh, hello. Hello, salutations. What it do? It's Dr. Gamer, off out of the Durag Gang. Know the vibes like a scribe. Let's get it. Good morning, good afternoon, chat. What's up, Durag Nation? Apparently, we have some news. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness comes out this week. That's what everyone's talking about, right? Oh, so it's so big, even Aqua has decided to stop by. What's up, Aqua Shill? Hello, hello, hello. What's up, Mr. Clean Kids? What's up, Derek Anderson? What's up, Bobo? How's everyone doing? Give everybody a chance to come in here. Got a lot to talk about. Lot of stuff happening in the middle of the night for me and people on the East Coast. I am chilling. I was not intending to do anything today. It is my birthday. I was not going to make any videos, but then freaking Square Enix decides to sell their entire Western division of game studios in the middle of the night. So here we are. Thank you. Appreciate it. The birth of Sadot caused the death of Avengers. Boros gang, yes sir. What's up, Treasure? All right, so we're gonna go over everything because there's a lot of obviously a lot of opinions floating around, a lot of panic reactions. That's why I did not make any videos in the middle of the night other than when sharing the clip that I found from Embracer Group, because I didn't want to make any quick judgments until the facts came out. I didn't care about being first. I wanted to be correct so that I didn't have to issue any retractions later. I wanted to have everything ready, nice and clean. So here we go. We'll start things off with the obvious. The Embracer Group has bought Eidos, Crystal Dynamics, and Square Enix Montreal for $300 million from Square Enix. This sale includes a catalog of IPs that include Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, Thief, Legacy of Kain, and more than 50 back catalog games from Square Enix Holdings. $300 million was the sale. Embracer said during their press release that this acquisition includes about 1,100 employees across 3 studios and 8 global locations. The deal, if it goes through, is expected to close Q2 of Embracer's financial year of 2023. So what does that mean? So Embracer Group has a pretty good track record for both being a business and operating a lot of IPs. They notably manage Dark Horse Comics and a bunch of other assets. So Square Enix has been complaining for a while that their Western divisions are underperforming, and there is some validity to that. We see here, this is from Daniel Ahmed. They have the profit margins for Crystal Dynamics from last year, and according to that, Crystal Dynamics actually made a profit in 2021 of 3.6%, and Eidos Montreal had a profit margin of just 0.65%, whereas Square Enix, by comparison, had a 14.2% income margin. So Square Enix has notoriously mismanaged a lot of IPs, and many are saying that this sale is pretty much a steal. $300 million for all of these IPs is quite frankly ridiculous, on top of the fact that you're getting 3 competent studios. So it seems like Square Enix was just doing a fire sale. It's pretty crazy too when you factor in that one of the reasons they talked about Square selling all these properties is because they want to get into the blockchain, AI, selling NFTs. Skill Up pretty accurately summed this up. Square Enix have explained that the purpose of the sale was, among other things, to move forward with investments in fields including blockchain, AI, and the cloud. Imagine selling Crystal Dynamics, Eidos, Tomb Raider, and Deus Ex so you can do some NFT shit. So that's a pretty good summary of that. So what does this mean for Marvel's Avengers? Well, Paul Tassi, he wrote this up already. He had a pretty good summary, which pretty much confirms what I've been able to find so far. So we'll read some of Paul's article on the subject. The gaming industry was started awake. Yep. The deal by most accounts is a steal for Embracer, which recently bought Gearbox for $1.3 billion. And here it's getting 2 talented AAA studios and a host of original IPs like Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, Thief, and Legacy of Kain. However, questions remain about what these 2 studios have been focused on for their last 2 projects, which were both licensed Marvel games under Square Enix, Marvel's Avengers, and Guardians of the Galaxy. Specifically, what happens to Avengers, a live service game where fans are waiting around for substantive content, and what happens with potential future Marvel projects, like a theoretical Guardians sequel. So there is kind of an answer to this, and shout out Stardust for getting an embed in the article. Essentially, what happened was Embracer did a live stream where they were answering some questions, and Avengers came up, obviously, as well as Guardians of the Galaxy. So some people immediately thought that when the sale happened, that was it. Avengers is getting shut down. It's over. In reality, as Embracer clarified, when Marvel's Avengers, when Crystal Dynamics was sold, even though Square was licensing the IP, the Marvel IP, and we're having Crystal work on it, all of that is getting transferred over to Embrace. So when Embracer Group bought Crystal Dynamics from Square Enix, that actually includes Marvel's Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, the issue is they still need approval not only from regulators, because this is a Japanese company selling American companies to a European company, so obviously some red tape there, but they need approval from Disney and Marvel to sign off on future Marvel development. Now, there is an existing agreement going on with Marvel's Avengers and Crystal Dynamics. So obviously, regardless of what happens, nothing is going to happen overnight. You'll still be able to play Avengers today. You'll still be able to play Avengers tomorrow. Nothing will change. If Avengers was getting shut down, nothing would happen until September. because that's around the time that this Embracer sale will actually close if everything is approved. So how does Avengers get through? Avengers has to essentially get the seal of approval from DC Marvel, which Embracer said they're not expecting any resistance in that regard. They're not worried about Disney slash Marvel standing in the way. At least that's what Embracer initially said during a live stream, but they said they were very obviously careful and saying we'll have to see, maybe wait a week, see what happens. But initially they didn't anticipate any problems, and I don't think Marvel Games personally cares as long as the check clears. So likely what will probably happen is that everything will be approved and Marvel's Avengers will continue, at the very least, putting out its planned content. From what I'm hearing, they already had a set plan for the content they've already been working on, and possibly an ending in sight. So most likely, I think this doesn't change anything. At the very least, I think Avengers will carry on. We'll definitely get 2.4 and 2.5 regardless of what happens. I think we'll probably get She-Hulk, Winter Soldier, Captain Marvel. Then beyond that, that depends on Embracer and whether or not they think pursuing Marvel's Avengers beyond 2023 is worth it, and whether or not whether they would rather just cut ties and just end it here once their contractual obligations are met. Worst case scenario, Avengers gets shut down in September. Worst case scenario. But more than likely, I think Avengers will finish out the content they have in the pipeline, which, you know, again, She-Hulk, Captain Marvel, Winter Soldier, Cloning Labs, whatever. And then probably, or it depends. So Embracer seems to have a high opinion of Crystal Dynamics. So we're not going to know what they're going to take, how they're going to take this. They're probably going to want to look at the financials, if they haven't already, for Marvel's Avengers, and definitely they're going to have to sit down with Marvel Games / Disney, because it sounds like they haven't done that yet. And they might say, okay, well, we think Square Enix might have mishandled this. So what we're going to do is just basically kind of step back, let you guys do your thing, give you some extra resources. But in that case, I'd say Avengers definitely goes free to play and definitely starts charging for heroes and DLC content, because there's no way that they maintain a live service game on skin sales alone. That's just not happening. But anyone saying Avengers is getting shut down tomorrow or whatever has no idea what they're talking about. Nothing has been confirmed. The one thing Embracer did confirm is that Avengers and the Guardians will be transferred over. The question is, will Disney Marvel sign off so that they can license further beyond? For now, a Guardians of the Galaxy sequel seems unlikely. Sounds like Eidos Montreal is focused on another Deus Ex game, but it doesn't sound like a Guardians 2 sequels is going to happen. Should have made it free, not live service. I mean, live service games tend to be free. That's the Destiny model that they kind of copied off of, but just didn't do it right. You know what, Crystal Dynamics Avengers is turned into Marvel's Heroes Omega. Funny that Brian Wagner was a dev on both of those games, both Marvel Heroes Omega and Marvel's Avengers. So any questions about this merger, we're happy to answer. Love to know your thoughts on all this as it's still developing. We did get a statement from Crystal Dynamics. They said, a new chapter in our story begins as we announce a plan to join the Embracer Group family. Embracer Group will help propel us to great new heights as we continue to develop exciting experiences from our beloved portfolios of franchises, which include Tomb Raider, as well as original concepts and IPs developed with partners. That would be Marvel's Avengers and Perfect Dark. Thank you to our amazing fans for being a part of the journey. Best shit to come. Marvel's Avengers account has not made an official statement yet. We're still waiting on that. Do I personally think Avengers will go through 2023? Yes, but I don't think it'll necessarily get content beyond it. We'll have to see. I would love for them to fix the game, but I think it may be dead. Glad you didn't jump off the regular. I'm glad you didn't either. They have been saying how Crystal Dynamics needs to do better with Avengers, but after hearing the news today, you're a huge hypocrite for saying this, but you don't want Avengers to be shut down. I don't either. So I think it depends on how people view Square Enix and how well Avengers is doing financially. The official statement would be a new FCU skin reveal. Imagine. So they're a Marvel game. So I think that most likely Avengers will continue through 2022. 2023 is where it gets murky because now there are other potential Marvel games, and who knows if Marvel wants Marvel's Avengers floating around. Depends on whether Embracer Group is interested. So far in their statements, Embracer hasn't emphasized Avengers. They've been all the statements have been emphasizing Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, but that's probably because those are more certain since they haven't actually talked to Disney's Marvel yet. You're 38 today. Nice. Bob's Burgers. How old is The Rock today? I'm old enough to not tell you how old I am. How old is Dwayne Johnson? Dwayne Johnson. It is also Dwayne The Rock Johnson's birthday today. Happy birthday, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. My hero. He is 50 years old today. Looks amazing for his age. We should all aspire to look like demigods when we turn 50. Can they change the game engine? Technically, yes. Practically, no. It's out the grandfather. They could change the game engine, but it would be so expensive and practical and time consuming that they might as well literally just make a new game. I'm not that old, but yeah. Casual Avenger, Craig, those are the grandpas. The uncles and grandpas. Do you think Avengers will end up getting a big community? Definitely not. If you're talking about like a Destiny type of community, no. Because I think Avengers will get the usual spike in players when they introduce new heroes, but I'm not and I think with the changes they've made to 2.3 and coming to 4, they'll be able to sustain more of those players. But I don't think Avengers is ever going to reach the heights that it should have. I don't see that happening. Though that could completely change. It depends. Again, it depends on whether Disney, Marvel, work with Embracer, and whether if Embracer is interested in pursuing the Marvel IP. My killing this game would be Injustice. You wouldn't mind waiting for Avengers remake on a new engine. You'll be waiting a long time, my friend. You want the game to even have like half of what Destiny has. That was so like you're talking like 50,000 concurrents on Steam. Look how delusional these there's no need to be toxic about it, Bobo. There's a lot of stuff in flux. Embracer is a very good company, and they could definitely help Avengers a lot, especially since Avengers is a huge IP, and despite all its flaws, has still maintained a lot of public interest and a community. So it's not completely out of the realm of possibility for Avengers to have a relatively large community, because it started off with a big community. If they go free to play, they continue making improvements, they get ongoing, if they get more resources from Embracer Group, then yeah, they can definitely see substantial growth in their player base and maintain it. But there's still a lot up in the air because we don't know if Disney, Marvel are going to. Seems likely they are going to, because they don't care that much. But it depends on what Embracer wants to do. They might, they could get more resources. Embracer might decide just finish out your contract, do the content you were planning on doing. We'll move on to something else. We'll call those roll fans. Yeah, I mean, there are definitely NPCs very much on both sides. You have the NPCs like that are running around saying Avengers is definitely not gonna get shut down. Then you have the NPCs who say dead game literally every day. Like, there is a lot of NPC behavior in gaming communities in general, but definitely in Marvel's Avengers. We'll see by September if the game lives or dies. We'll probably see more earlier than that. We'll at least hear earlier than that. I'm expecting statements to come from Marvel's Avengers. I'm expecting Embracer to make a statement in maybe a week or so after they actually speak with Disney and Marvel. Finally, happy to see solo players hit allowed to hit max level. Then this happens. I mean, you'll still be able to do it. They, at the bare minimum, they have to keep this game going until September. Alberto, appreciate that sub. Welcome to the Rag Gang. Aqua definitely has NPCs under his control, like Chosen Undead. If it wasn't for Casual and Tanked Out, you wouldn't be as calm as you about Avengers. I'm glad I could help. Statements to come blog on Thursday. Could be. Do you think this will interfere with patch 2.45? No. The deal is not going to close until Q2 for Embracer, which is July/September, and Avengers legally can't shut down anyway until September at the earliest. Base case scenario is Embracer keeps the contracts going and the game gets a support studio. Pretty much. Resources and time is all this game needs. And Embracer would definitely be a lot more hands off than Square Enix. They're not gonna come to the devs and be like, hey, by the way, we need this game to be a live service Destiny clone, and we want NFTs. You know, appreciate that $1.99, Raphael. At the very least, this will have zero effect on patch 2.4 and 2.5. So Jane will be a thing. 2.4 will be a thing. She-Hulk might be a thing depending on when it would be funny if Greg Miller's prediction is exactly spot on. Like She-Hulk comes out in August, and then because of this deal, the game gets shut down in September. Brian, Andy are shocked. Well, yeah, Andy's been at Capcom, and Brian obviously doesn't know whether he's going to have a job in 6 months. What do I mean by new heights? What I mean is that best case scenario, like I was saying, if Embracer gets the go ahead from Disney Marvel to continue making new Marvel content, then if they see the value in Marvel's Avengers, they could, not be harassing them with NFT BS and trying to force them to be something they're not. Give them the resources that they need so they're not working with a skeleton crew, but obviously shift them to a more profitable model like free to play with paid DLCs. Then we can see Avengers actually grow and get some actual continued support and a bigger, more sustained community. Marvel's Avengers 2, I don't know about that. The engine though. Yeah, so one thing that the engine is obviously a problem, but one thing they could do is they can make the switch to current gen only. That could be part of their free to play push. They go free to play, just PS5, Xbox Series S/X, and PC. Free to play, paid DLCs, no more previous gen support. That would take some of the technical burden off of them. Square Enix definitely fumbled the bag from the start. They're going to drop Thanos January 2023 content. Captain Marvel, and then after that, who knows? Play Avengers on last gen, you're a menace. So buggy and glitchy on there. Facts. I did not miss playing on PS4. Maybe that will help you play a PS5 version. Exactly. Save Thanos for a sequel. I don't know if there's going to be a sequel. So what if they don't sell Marvel's Avengers? You mean what if the acquisition doesn't go through, or what if Disney Marvel doesn't sign off on the license transfer? Which one do you mean? Captain Marvel, yeah, I know that the dates got switched, which probably would impact Captain Marvel, but obviously now there's a lot more to consider than just those dates. LaShill, fourth show's thinking Avengers getting a sequel. Yeah, regardless, I don't think Avengers is getting a direct sequel. What's up, Craig? How you doing, my friend? It's like a long elevator rise on Series X because of last gen teammates. True. if Disney doesn't sign off on it, then if Disney just says nah, then Avengers dies immediately. if they flat out just say nah to everything, then yeah, the game dies as soon as the deal closes in September. It makes sense for them to transfer the license, since it sounds like Square Enix doesn't want to keep the license and was just going to let it expire. Yeah, Square Enix doesn't sound very interested in gaming in general. They just sound like they're interested in just hustling their customers with all the latest tech BS. You think by 3 years later there will be new consoles for 3 years from now? Definitely not. The life cycle of consoles of new consoles are a lot longer. We might get like a PS5 Pro by then or something, but it'll be quite a while before we get the PlayStation 6. New brand, new mercy. Think they should push free to play? I mean, there's no other way. They have to go free to play. You have your reasons for playing it on last gen, which is why you can't afford it. It's hard to find excellent console. I know, but thinking about it from a business standpoint, that's probably something they would likely look at. As a Marvel fan, you want to see this game get more. Oh, what's up, Craig? So everyone that's late coming in, I'll do a quick recap for those that missed it. Pretty massive story in the middle of the night. A European company called the Embracer Group has bought all of the Western studios from Square Enix, which include Eidos Montreal, who did Guardians of the Galaxy, Deus Ex, and Crystal Dynamics, who famously did Tomb Raider and are currently working on Marvel's Avengers. That sale has been proposed and looks like it will likely go through. It is for $300 million. And if the sale, everything is approved, will likely be confirmed July/September. And the question for Marvel's Avengers is, will it be shut down? So according to Embracer Group, Marvel's Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy, those games were licensed by Square Enix from Marvel, but Embracer confirmed that all of those games are being transferred over in the deal. The holdout remains, will Disney/Marvel sign off on the transfer? Will the regulators sign off on everything? And will that, if they sign off on it, that means Embracer can just let Avengers continue to do their thing, or they can shut the whole thing down. It's up to them. But obviously there's a lot of stuff in the air. They need to meet with Disney and Marvel, figure out if they're able to do it. They sound like they're interested in keeping and doing the Marvel's Avengers thing, but unclear of how committed they are to it. It's going to depend entirely on how their meeting with Disney and Marvel go, whether or not Avengers will have any real future. But regardless, everything will be business as usual until probably September. So patch 2.4, patch 2.5 completely unaffected. Everything will continue. Free to play and paid content expansion should be the way. Agree, Legion. That is the best way, I think, to grow Avengers from here. Maybe Ubisoft steps in, they take over. How would Ubisoft take over? Ubisoft, they have no other company can take over. You're glad Square is out of the picture for so many games now. True. Like Disney Infinity 2.0. 3.0 again. Just let the game die. Marvel Disney, did you say, or sound like they're interested? Well, yeah. Well, Marvel obviously owns Marvel, but Disney owns Marvel. So Marvel Games usually operates on behalf of the Marvel brand when they're working in the gaming space. Marvel is the parent company and Disney is the parent of them. Kevin Feige is our only hope. Ubisoft could not. Ubisoft is completely unrelated to all of this. But hopefully Ubisoft can keep doing their thing. Maybe they'll have a Marvel game of their own one day. Damn Disney with the soul slash themselves. Them skin sales about to decline. Who knows? They actually might do the opposite. People might buy skin sales to show that the game still has support. You need an X-Men game. Well, eventually we'll get a Wolverine game, and I know somebody's working on an X-Men game. Even Disney, Marvel say no to giving Embracer their license. You can't do. You know how much I sacrificed. Said Embracer says they don't expect any resistance from Disney / Marvel in regards to this deal. So I think if that turns out to be true, it will depend on how much Embracer thinks of the Marvel's Avengers project, whether they think the bad press and a lot of the problems were mainly Square Enix mismanaging, or if they want to just cut base and move along with the whole thing. Versus Disney, Marvel have heart. Right, Embracer sounds like a great hope future for Avengers. Embracer, from everything I've heard, sounds like a fantastic company. So the hope is just that they decide that Avengers is worth keeping around beyond, what they have already in the pipeline. Haven't purchased credits since last year, but they show they're still supporting and have some content coming up. You'll happily drop some. I mean, it's going to look like status quo. I'm curious to see if Avengers officially makes a statement about it. It'll be a while before we see anything. Aqua, give Aqua a break. He's been crying all morning. I've been trying to calm down Aqua, telling him not to panic. There's still a lot we don't know. Aqua has been inconsolable, thinking that Marvel's Avengers is going to finally be dead. He doesn't know how to express himself. Bracer was around the start, guaranteed this game wouldn't have had half the hit. Well, no, I mean, obviously, if Embracer had said, "Hey, let's make a Marvel's Avengers game," they would have done things very differently. When is Jane expected to drop? Jane is expected to drop sometime next month, possibly in July. But we know, so Thor: Love and Thunder comes out July 8th. So sometime before that, but definitely not in May. Did they put out the roadmap yet? The roadmap was canceled quite a while ago, unfortunately. We covered this a bit on the channel. They announced that the 2022 roadmap is not a thing anymore. AAA Dark Horse games incoming, possibly. Ubisoft doing Marvel games is a nightmare. He said, yeah, they own Dark Horse Comics, so they own Dark Horse Comics. They just picked up some new studios. They could do it. How do you feel about the She-verse Marvel movies? What do you mean? You invested so much money in the heroic starter packs. Oh, wow. Yeah, when they revealed Jane Foster, it was in a blog where they were also talking about patch 2.4. And in the Discord and the Reddit, they confirmed that instead of a traditional roadmap, they're going to be doing these blog updates about new patches as they're available, as they're ready or near ready. Bob and Aqua say the game is dead, but the same people who play the raid and bought them skins. Yeah, slick back. This is the reason why they were radio silence. It's unclear how much they knew what was going on. Obviously, they were well aware that Square Enix was not messing with them at all. But I don't know how much they knew. Deals like this isn't something devs typically know about on the the ground level. I'm sure Scott Amos probably knew about this. I don't know if Brian knew about it. I doubt it. No more free characters. If the game goes free to play, which I wouldn't expect until 2023, if anything, then there's no way they're going to keep doing free characters. No, not a chance. If the game goes free to play, there's no way they're going to do free characters. Do you think they could give Marvel's Avengers an economic boost? They can if they want to. It depends on if obviously they need the approval, but it depends on if they think it's worth it to keep Avengers going, or if they think it'd be better to just let them finish out what they have and go to a new game. Xbox will never see Spider-Man. Very true. Square Enix is trash. Square Enix definitely did not come out looking well. Not only did they sell these IPs and studios for a absurdly low price, but talking about they're going to double down on NFTs and blockchain stuff and freaking the cloud, and I'm like, bro. But at least Outriders is safe. They said they didn't sell People Can Fly. So Life is Strange, Outriders, they're all going to continue get the Square Enix treatment. Am I mid-30s? Nope. Still not mid-30s. How do you think the haters feel about the news? They're celebrating. Well, they're doing their best because there's still a lot in the air, but they are definitely, most part, celebrating. You definitely need to join in progress, eat my will, all that. Yep. Outriders better than Avengers confirmed. I mean, they're getting a paid expansion next month. Definitely a better looter. Wouldn't that be false marketing, making heroes purchasable? I mean, they also said that they would never sell anything in the marketplace beyond cosmetics. They already broke that. Now that they're not working under Square Enix anymore, they have an even better excuse to go back on that because they're under completely new management and under a new deal. So they can very easily say, yeah, we've said that when we were working under Square Enix, but now we're on a whole new thing. So give us that money if you want Doctor Strange. I mean, Hellboy coming soon. Sad day. Not even. It's a confusing day if you're an Avengers fan. But the fact that they Embracer Group already said that they're planning on that Avengers is transferring over should be enough to keep everyone, relatively chill. Just wait and see what happens. What's up, Original? Do you think they should have charged for heroes from the get-go? Absolutely, Struggle Bry. The fact that Square Enix desperately wanted to make this a live service cash grab just blows my mind with the way that they did this. Like, the obvious model is when you're doing a live service game, free to play, paid additional content, monthly battle pass, emote wheel. Those are the basics. And they did none of that. So I don't understand, and I don't understand why. Feel like a lot of service games show people are willing to pay for additional content. Absolutely. Avengers gets transferred over to Embracer. There will be a massive update to the game. Depends on how much they're willing to invest in the future. It could just be status quo and then shelf, or they could try to keep it going. Casual's live streaming right now. Nice. Look at Babylon's Fall. Square don't learn. Yeah, Babylon's Fall was a abomination. Oh my god. That was oof. They might as well put Squirrel Girl, Spider Pig. They try to cash on MC hype and IP. Came out a year after Endgame. Hope they look at the model that Destiny's following as a free-to-play game. Keep their promise. Purely if the right studio gets this, it can be saved and make bank. It may be good for the game. Square won't be throwing them the other IP. Take a paid $40 game, 6 free heroes, story even other heroes must be bought. Would have been better. I think the thought process was Big Hero Feast's IP so big they thought it was guaranteed that they make a fortune on cosmetics. But even still, like that's still dumb. Like it's like because no other live service game, no other successful live service game does that. Like purely on cosmetics, especially with how little cosmetics that they had. They did when Avengers launched, despite committing to only being cosmetics with their sales, they didn't even have any MCU skins. They didn't have MCU skins until 2021. Like, hold on. Dead game? Not yet. Embracer Group has confirmed that Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxy transfer over from Square Enix with the sale, but future production development of these IPs depends on whether or not Disney/Marvel will sign off on the transfer. So until we know what Disney and Marvel games are going to do, whether or not they're going to work with Embracer on this, we don't know. And the deal doesn't even conclude until July, September. So Avengers is still going to keep going like it always has been, at the very least until September. But Square Enix definitely got fleeced on this deal. I will tell you that. $300 million for all these IPs and studios is stupid. Gearbox by itself sold for $1.3 billion. And you're telling me Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, and all of the Tomb Raider IP all the 50 other IPs are like only for 300 million. Come on. How long do you think it will take for there to be news? I know in the live stream they said about the Marvel stuff, circle back in a week. The acquisition isn't going to close until July or September if it's approved. Happy about this is borderline unplayable right now with glitches and stale content. Realistically, it can't get worse. If Embracer decides to keep Marvel's Avengers going and they're able to, I think it will 100% be a much better experience for everybody, including the players and Crystal Dynamics and the game. If Embracer is pulling the strings, I think Avengers will be a much better game. You know, I see communicators, they probably won't even announce them moving on from Guardians. So they already made a statement on the acquisition. So obviously there's a lot they can't say because Embracer literally couldn't even say definitively what's going on with the Marvel stuff because they have to talk to Marvel and Disney. Like, so, you know, obviously criticize Crystal Dynamics for their past communication, but this is a whole new ball game right now. What's up, Joe Fisher? Sale. Yep, we are talking about the massive sale that went down overnight with Square Enix selling all of their Western studios, including Crystal Dynamics, who of course does Marvel's Avengers and Tomb Raider, as well as Eidos Montreal, who did Guardians of the Galaxy. Crystal Dynamics has already made a statement. Square Enix made a statement, talk about NFTs. We're at this point, we're just waiting for more information. Cyberfox, appreciate that sub. I'm with Durag Gang. This news is still questionable, and all the fans of Avengers Guardians still uninterested about the acquisition. Let's hope Marvel's Avengers and Guardians will continue. I definitely don't think Guardians will continue. I think it looks like Eidos Montreal is ready to move on to Deus Ex. Avengers probably will make it to 2023. Just want semi-regular content for Kate and the rest, not flying the air whenever you try to use them. Do cut content. You expect Jane Foster to be the last hero? Possibly. Depends on when they were planning on dropping She-Hulk. Should be glad you got the game this long. EA definitely would have cut ties a lot earlier for sure. Deus Ex is underrated. They need to bless the game with everything we need. This deal Disney and Marvel goes through. That's why we aren't ever getting a roadmap again. Well, hard to do a roadmap when your company is being bought and you don't know if your license is going to get cut or not. She-Hulk, Bucky, Captain Marvel, creators sound more like a fantasy. It depends. Again, it depends. Like this is all content they already had in the pipeline. So as long as the deal goes through and Disney Marvel doesn't block anything, at the very least, they should be able to throw out their planned content. Do I think Square is setting themselves up for a purchase? Maybe. I don't think so, though. I think they're really just into NFTs. They definitely need to comment on the news because skins are ready to go. I definitely expect something, but again, there's not that much they can say. Because whether or not the game is going to continue depends on what happens when Embracer sits down with Disney Marvel and talks about the license. I was getting Captain Marvel's like you hitting the lottery. I wonder what Miller, the CD Gold Digger, has to say about this. He was on. I was on his stream earlier talking about it with him. He was obviously dunking on Square Enix for being terrible, mostly, and of course, said that Avengers isn't dead yet, but still a lot we don't know. Screw continue with this game, just get to the Kree and move on. Didn't feel like if they launched, well, they can't do that because that would, if they did do the Kree invasion, that would mean they would be getting the rest of the year plus next year for development, because they don't have, because that content isn't near done yet. What if Sony wants to buy out Square? I've heard that rumor, but I don't know if Square is looking to be sold, especially now. If it would be somebody, it would be Sony, but it's unclear if they're going to go that route. My assumption was that She-Hulk would be dropping in August anyway, August or July, and the game is going to bare minimum continue until September. What's up, Lamadou? Just talking about, obviously, this huge industry news. Big Avengers will say something on Twitter today or Thursday. I'd say more likely later in the week. Maybe they give a statement saying, they're embracing this new sale. They're excited for what this could mean for the future of Marvel's Avengers, but they're not going to want to or be able to say anything because there's a lot up in the air. They don't know if the license is going to get renewed or not. Will this deal change your life? Oh, 100% casual, one way or another. Either you're going to get Avengers content for the next year or longer, or you're going to have to completely change what your channel covers after September. When do you think Winter Soldier will release? If everything is allowed to stay status quo, then yeah, my prediction was late this year, November or December. Game will come in a few weeks. Tomb Raider is a single player treasure adventure game. Of course, that's going to do good because they said that it's going to be on Unreal Engine 5. Yep. What's up, Yardrat? Appreciate you. Scarlet Witch and Doctor Strange are in Future Revolution if you want them. True. Unfortunately, you're going to have to play Future Revolution, which is a downside for sure. Definitely about to be Marvel Heroes all over again. Hope they add Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch just so you can stop hearing about those two. Also true. Basically, everyone who covers Marvel's Avengers and people who work on Brian Avengers will be homeless. I mean, not necessarily. Some people have their content has been entirely focused on Avengers and will have to pivot. Other people have been doing other stuff. I've been pivoting for the last several months so that I can go off of Avengers if need be. But regardless, nothing is going to happen with Avengers until September. Ready for all the cars at Midnight Suns? Oh, I'm ready. Stop lying to yourselves. The game is not doing anything good. I mean, that's your opinion. I mean, we can obviously point to things that they have done good and continue to do well. The game does die. You will only watch the shields melt down. Hope you got pocket money. Pocket money. Like I said, the game, if the game does get shut down, it's not going to happen until like absolute worst case scenario, September. So regardless, it doesn't matter. I don't know why people are saying, oh, it's over, doom and gloom. Like literally the actual deal can't even be completed until September. Like, I bet Kyle is crying on the inside because he's played more Marvel's Avengers than all of us. You hope Disney Marvel allow the game to continue. I do too. I don't think I don't think Marvel games care, especially since the only Marvel game coming out this year is Midnight Suns. Do you think cosmetics will always be locked to needing the online connection? It depends. It's unclear, especially now that Square Enix is no longer under helm. I would expect that they would be available offline. The Scream Dead game into the void for the rest of your existence. Did Midnight Suns get delayed? Yeah, it's been delayed, and we're still waiting for them to start rolling out the news. Black Panther was their last DLC with a full team. No, it wasn't. They have not had a full team since launch, my friend. The Kate Bishop War Table was the last thing they did with a relatively full team. You're scared, Hazy? No need to be scared. It's just a game. Why are people so happy it gets shut down? Last Hawk game was back into it. Some people haven't very much embraced they hate Marvel's Avengers bandwagon, even though they follow the game every day. They're in every Avengers live stream. They're under every Avengers Twitter post. They're in every Avengers Reddit thread. But they definitely hate the game, guys. Definitely. That's why they have to tell you in every single place that covers Avengers how much they hate the game and want it to be shut down. They totally hate the game though, guys. For reals. They can't stop talking about it because of how much they hate it. Crazy part of this, they drop big money, fix every aspect of the game. Well, not every aspect of it. Definitely not. Let's not go do crazy. Because this game is still on the foundation engine. They can't change that. The game is only, if the game gets better, it'll be because they actually have the resources to fix bugs, make interesting content. You know, it'll be free to play, so more people will come. It's not going to be like, you know, oh, Unreal Engine 5. Like, that's not happening. Thank you. These people hate on Avengers everywhere. Seem like they love it. Yeah, I'm just saying, it's okay. It's okay to love Marvel's Avengers. It's okay to admit it. You don't have to do the tsundere routine. We know you secretly love the game, and the idea that it's dead will hurt you. There's no need to lash out at people and be toxic. It's okay to admit you love the game. It's fine. We all love the game here. We all want it to be better. You know, no need to be toxic about it. We all know the truth. I think people are going to buy skins regardless. People who want to buy skins are going to buy skins, especially if they're good. But I could definitely see a movement of people saying they're going to buy skins to show that the game still has support. Embracer Group is a company who just purchased who just purchased Crystal Dynamics and Eidos Montreal. And wow, they're already pretty big. They're, quote, the best kept secret in gaming, according to Phil Rogers from Square Enix America. A massive decentralized collection of entrepreneurs whom we are thrilled to become a part of today. Embracer will have 14,000 employees, 10,000 game developers, and 124 internal studios after this deal. It also confirmed it has more than 230 games in development at those studios, and more than 30 are AAA titles. So Embracer Group, already pretty huge company in the gaming space. They also own Dark Horse Comics, famously, who produced Hellboy. They're already pretty massive. So $300 million for Eidos Montreal, Crystal Dynamics, and all their IPs, pretty insane. This game's been through so much, like a TV show, bro. They got to do a documentary. Just wish you had Spider-Man. Clearly, I hope they make Avengers better instead of scrapping it. Apparently, that's going to be mainly up to Disney, Marvel. That's the first hurdle they have to clear. And then if they get the seal of approval from Disney and Marvel, then they have to look at Marvel's Avengers and be like, okay, what can you guys do? What do you think? You know, is this something that could make us some money? Is it something that could be good? Gotta get Scott Amos on his cells here now. Oh my god, that would be high comedy. If Embracer does decide to back Marvel's Avengers, it will definitely be a huge improvement. I will go out on a limb and say that. It's official Hellboy character in December. Sell you Spider-Man. You're gonna have to talk to Phil Spector. If Xbox wants Spider-Man, they're gonna have to pay a lot. Even though the engine of the game is bad, did you see the acquisition? Oh, definitely. Yeah. Because the engine's bad, but you know, I've mentioned they can go current gen only, which would help with the technical burden. They could go free to play, which would boost the player base. They could start selling content, which would improve revenue, improve the marketplace, which will further improve revenue and the experience of the players, and actually give them more than just a skeleton crew to work with, so that the content they do make can come out sooner and be at a higher quality. Appreciate that sub, Proud Hype, because Embracer Group is a massive company in the gaming space with a lot of studios, a lot of employees. So they could give Avengers all the help they need to get content out better and faster. It's just, do they think it's worth it, and will they get approval from Marvel Games? Should we start a GoFundMe for Brian? He'll be fine. He always finds himself on another doomed Marvel project, so I'm sure he'll be okay. It's not like the people who are working on Marvel's Avengers are going to be unemployed tomorrow for the most part. Like, they're Crystal Dynamics employees. So if a Marvel's Avengers does get shut down, they're just going to be shuttled off to another project. unless they were like temp hires, maybe. But someone like Brian, they'll just move him. They'll just move him to Tomb Raider or Perfect Dark, or they'll start developing another game now that they have such a huge company to work with. Regardless, the devs are fine. Doesn't Marvel have the say when content comes out? Yes and no. So there were reports that Sony, since Spider-Man was only in the game because of the Sony deal, they were able to say, okay, we want Spider-Man to come out this amount of time. Marvel Games needs to sign off on, all the stuff they do. And there have been reports that Marvel Games has been looking more towards synergy, but it's not like they're actually running the game, but it's just that whatever Crystal Dynamics wants to do, they have to run everything through Marvel Games if it's Marvel related. No more free characters if it goes free to play. That sucks. Yeah, I don't mind. Like, they should have done that in the beginning. Guess this means no more leaks for Miller. I mean, the leaks are still there. I mean, he still has the same access to all the data mining he's doing. That's not changing, but he's definitely going to need some. He might need some new. He has a source at Crystal Dynamics, so he should be fine regardless. But he might need to find some new ones. Johnny Rocker, is it dead game yet? Dead yet? Definitely go follow Johnny Rocker over on Twitch. Amazing human being, great musician, fellow Marvel Avengers shill, also a WWE shill. A lot of shilling going on. Game is still, unfortunately for the haters, alive. At least until September. Once September rolls around, then it will depend on what Square Enix, about what Marvel Games has to say. Other than that, we'll have to see. Let me pull up Johnny real quick. The Rocker Squad. Marvel Games, at the end of the day, will be the judge. Miller City Gold Digger. Hilarious that people think he actually works there. Appreciate that sub, Cloud Strife. Welcome to Rag Gang. Gonna play WWE 2K22. It looks fun, especially if you're a wrestling fan. You pay for expansions. I think a lot of people would. There's definitely going to be a somewhat divide in the community on that, in that regard. But if they go free to play and they bring in new players with the understanding that content will be paid, I don't think it'll be a problem. Better than paying $100 for one character in a trash full game. True. Pretty sure based on the price of skins, one expansion will be a full $50. I doubt a Marvel's Avengers expansion would be $50. Probably, I think most likely it'd be like $30. Assuming we're operating under Embracer Group, and the game is a lot better quality, I'm thinking like no more than 30, 20 at the low end for a DLC, 40 on the high end. Most likely 30, give at least at first, based on reputation. WWE 2K22 is fun, but there are some bugs. I've seen them. Sing Smallville theme song. Embrace your save. This is the reason why CD does not release a roadmap. I'm unclear if this was a reason, because I don't imagine a lot of CD actually knew about this deal. Imagine spending money on a game you play on your cell phone. But the lack of support from Square Enix most likely had a role to play in the lack of a roadmap, on top of their skeleton crew. Yeah, if this was a deal they've been working on this for a little bit, that could definitely be why if they were struggling with approvals. Is most of the execs that are making the crappy business decisions. True. Definitely paying $50 for this game again. $40 new characters, $20 echo characters. Now, if it's just characters, I don't think it's going to be that much. Just made Wolverine in WWE. He's badass. Yeah, the character creation in that game is insane. Hopefully, skin prices go down. They ever like Square? I think the skin prices are in a good place now. I guess you can argue that exotic skins could go down to, I don't know, maybe 1,000 credits instead of 1,400. Takedowns, I feel like definitely are too expensive. Common free. I don't think they need to sell. I don't think they need to have them for free. But yeah, if exotic skins are like, if this exotic skins are like 10 legendary 7 epics 5, that seems reasonable to me. Bankai Kingdom, you got here late. What happened? The gaming industry has changed once again. A large company called the Embracer Group has, as you see from the headline, they have bought Eidos Montreal, Crystal Dynamics, and Square Enix Montreal for $300 million. That means the IPs like Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, Thief, Legacy of Kain, and even Marvel's Avengers are leaving Square Enix and going to Embracer Games. And we've been talking about what that means for Marvel's Avengers going forward. $6 for a 3-second animation. F out of here. Yeah, if you think $6 for a 3-second animation is bad, wait until you play Destiny and realize they cost $8. For a character in For Honor is about $7.99. Yeah, but is Iron Man in For Honor? I don't think so. Does that mean Avengers is dead? Nope. Avengers is, because Avengers is being transferred over, the future of the game will depend on whether or not Marvel or Disney are going to sign off on the licensing transfer with Embracer Group and approve future content. Embracer Group doesn't seem unwilling to work on Avengers, but it's going to depend on what Disney Marvel does. Regardless, Avengers is going to keep going until, at the very least, September. People in Destiny never complain about prices, even though they are more expensive than Avengers. Well, Destiny, to be fair, Destiny 2 currently, very well made game, great multiplayer. So people understand that in order to play, you gotta pay. But they generally get what they pay for. So they seem happy. Or Destiny players are rich. Yeah. Your friends who are massive Destiny players try to justify that much money for emote or skin. You'd be surprised how much people are willing to spend on a game if it's actually good and gives them what they want. They want. That's the thing. That's why live service games are popular. It's not that people are not willing to spend the money. It's that you have to give them a reason to spend the money. If it's good, if you give them a great experience, they will give you money. You just got to give them the experience. You're gonna put Dr. Bong in the game. Destiny isn't quite as big a hole. Destiny used to be down tremendous, but they had the time to keep going, develop, get better. If Racer wants to end Avengers, they have to pay Marvel. So if Embracer doesn't want to continue Marvel's Avengers, they don't have to do anything. They could just tell Marvel Games, nah, we're good. And Marvel Games can just like, okay. or Embracer can just let everything transfer over if Disney Marvel signs off on it, and then let Avengers play out the content that they have planned, and then just let the license naturally expire. They don't have to do anything. But it would make sense that at the very least, if they don't have any resistance from Disney and Marvel Games, to at least do their due diligence and see if Avengers has some value, especially if it's getting proper support from their publisher, unlike, what Square Enix does. Because Square Enix, I mean, our industry people know that there's no secret. Square Enix has been really bad in regards to the treatment of their Western studios in particular. So it's very likely that Embracer could think that they could do a much better job than Square Enix does and milk the Marvel IP, because the Marvel IP is still incredibly lucrative. Like, it's hard for me to imagine that Embracer would think that it would make more sense financially to develop, Tomb Raider, to put the emphasis on Tomb Raider and Thief, when Marvel is the biggest IP in the world. So it makes sense to me that they would look at exploring new Marvel games after this and seeing how far Avengers can do with proper support, a more optimized business model. Because despite how much Avengers has struggled, it's generated a lot of money. Despite all of its flaws, it's produced a lot of money. It's maintained a loyal player base. There's definitely value in keeping it around and trying to optimize it, because what it's done, considering all of its flaws, is pretty insane. Embracer has been great for Gearbox. Exactly. Like, Avengers, people forget, when Avengers launched, despite its problems, it was the second best selling superhero game of all time. It maintained, despite all of those launch issues, all of those delays, it ended up being a top 10 game on both Xbox and PlayStation for over a year. Not to mention they got money off of the Sony deal, the Game Pass deal. They've sold obviously a lot of skins. You smell the content. Set out the show. Facts. Chilling ain't easy. YouTube said, you know who else was down tremendous? Lejeune. What did Lejeune do? Lejeune's chilling. Lejeune's been chilling. He actually was playing Marvel's Avengers the other day. Do I think the pandemic affected Avengers? The pandemic affected the entire gaming industry. It was a global pandemic that shut down the entire world and forced game studios to literally shut down their studios and try to figure out a work from home model. It's crazy. Burning will bankrupt. This was a good game, so it had some potential from the start. Thinking of Spider-Man Arkham games. Yeah, like there's obviously a limit to what they can overhaul, like the engine. But they can definitely make some significant improvements to the game because they've been operating all this time with no support from Square and a relatively tiny staff of people working on the game. You were saying that, weren't they still made money? Investors will push to keep the game business one. Yeah, exactly. Like if the game was like in the red the entire time, I can understand that. But from everything I've heard, the game's still been making money despite being massively handicapped by Square Enix. So I would imagine Embracer would look at that and say, hey, this Marvel IP is so lucrative that even with the pandemic, even with all these problems, these controversies, delays, no support from Square Enix, they still have this loyal fan base and they've been making this money. Well, what if we put our resources into it and optimize it? We all know this is due to the Tricks Ridiculous. Facts. If it wasn't for Tricks Ridiculous and his freaking videos telling you how to get shipment skins for free and cheat the raid, none of this would be happening. Tricks Ridiculous ruins everything. They legit have two interns at Briar. Oh, don't forget the homies AJ and Alex. And when I heard news about Midnight Suns still quiet. How they prove a loyal fan base, Twitter or Reddit? I mean, yeah, but also literally looking at the Bobo, do you not understand that they have access to the financials and the data? They can literally look at exactly how many people are playing the game across all platforms, how long they're playing the game, when they log in, when they're not logging in, how much they're spending on skins, how much they're spending on takedowns. You realize they have this data, right? they don't need to check Twitter and Reddit to see how a game is doing. They can literally just look at the numbers. Peace, Eno Box. Their interns. AJ's definitely not an intern. don't talk about AJ and Alex like that. Bobo is speaking about things that are outside of his area of expertise. It's very clear. Very clear. Trick should be on the test payroll. Absolutely. They should head up a whole new QA testing team and put Tricks in charge. Can they see how much were saves coming? I'm not sure if they can monitor. Oh, they can monitor. I know they can monitor save data to a degree. I don't think they can. I don't know if they can monitor whether or not you can. It's possible because I feel like Square Enix, I feel like Crystal Dynamics tried to do something about that shipment save scumming thing because I definitely noticed that that sometimes when I'm save scumming, I won't be able to buy shipments. Your brain is focused on games not getting sold. The game is getting content. Yeah, until future rev. Yeah, you get a new character to autoplay. Some new $60 skins to buy. and then they'll shut down and go to the next mobile cash grab. As soon as they announce the next Marvel mobile cash grab. Someone checking in on Venture Hater. He's hanging around. See, surprisingly, I haven't checked his. He liked one of my tweets, so he's around somewhere. I haven't checked his timeline, but I'm sure there's some parties going on in the hater circles. But I definitely advise everybody not to get too ahead of themselves. Like I said, the game is going to be status quo until at the very least September. Embracer Group has stated that the game is transferring over. They seem to have no intention of shutting it down. So if Marvel Disney sign off on it, then it's likely that we'll be getting Avengers content up through Captain Marvel. There are like 10 different Avengers hater Twitter accounts. You got to find the right one. I think the main one liked one of my tweets, one of my recent tweets. Do you feel there any hope that Embracer will keep Marvel's Avengers going in the future after Jane? Possible. Don't know if it's probable. Obviously, like I was saying, this depends on how much faith Embracer has in this game in particular. Appreciate that sub, Gear. Welcome to Do Right Gang. At the very least, I think if Marvel Games doesn't block anything, they'll just use the next year, to evaluate how Avengers does while they don't have Square Enix hovering over them. Maybe implement some changes to make it more efficient and see how well that does. Kyle must be sad there will be more Avengers. If Avengers does get shut down, then yeah, Kyle definitely will be sad. So Embracer don't really want to work on Avengers. Did not say that. Not at all. I did not say that. Kyle, your channel gonna die. He's got to wait until the next. He'll be doing Reddit videos until the next Marvel game drops. What's up, James? What's the next MCU skin I want to see? Simpler times. There's not going to be a Jane biome of any kind. No Asgard biome, and I don't really care about the remaining MCU skins, except maybe the stealth suit Captain America skin from Winter Soldier. Otherwise, not particularly worried about the MCU skins. I'm much more interested in the comic book direction they've been going in. I'm kind of MCU'd out. Once we get that Winter Soldier Cap skin, I no longer care. I'm not going to care about the MCU really. The game shuts down, you'll be retired Avenger. Hey, that worked. You just thought that was the case? No, not at all. Now I've been saying this whole time that there's a lot that we don't know. Embracer has not indicated that they're not interested in Marvel's Avengers. They've been very complimentary about Crystal Dynamics as a company, and they were pretty direct on a live stream where this is mainly going to be determined by Marvel Disney, but they don't anticipate any pushback. So to me, that sounded like as long as Marvel Games doesn't shut anything down, Avengers can keep going. If the game gets shut down, the most you're going to be able to do is play the game offline and enjoy, and most likely you'll be able to have the skins that you already bought offline. But other than that, yeah, it's over. Guy's gonna be sitting in his chair like, son, bring my gamma pills. But we're still good. Too money? Oh, it's all good. I didn't think it was a big deal. So Embracer did acquire the license. Everything from the Marvel's Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxy transferred over in the deal, but if they want to produce future content Marvel related, they need, specifically with those two games, they need Marvel Games / Disney to sign off on it. What does a mobile game have to do with credibility? If anything, you're talking about successful games like Contest of Champions, Future Revolution. I mean, Bobo, you're openly shilling for an objectively terrible game. That's why your credibility is being questioned. Like, it'd be one thing if you were making intelligent, reasonable takes on the game, on Marvel's Avengers and everything like that, but you're just openly shilling for one horribly flawed Marvel game and attacking another one as and seemingly acting like you don't see the problem. Should you even play the game anymore? I mean, why not? You can do whatever you want, but nothing's going to change with Marvel's Avengers. You're still going to get patch 2.4. You're still going to get patch 2.5. Probably still going to get She-Hulk. Like, the deal doesn't even close until like September. Terrible. Future Revolution? No. Has not been getting service for 8 years. Candy Crush for life. Bro. We are the community. We have a voice. We can make Avengers great again. No, we cannot. I'm sorry to say. No, we cannot. We can, certain people, if they're allowed, can give valuable feedback to the devs, which they can use to gauge how to make the game better. But if this literally comes down to Marvel Games and Embracer Group, we have no say. We have no power here. So Lejeune loves it when I crush people's hopes, bro. That's all Lejeune's here for. That's all Lejeune wants. He wants me to crush people's dreams. That's all this man cares about. Yeah, I wasn't talking about Contest of Champions. I was always talking about Future Revolution. What's up, KFK? That's for subjectivity. It wouldn't be a Sadot stream without some toxicity. Yes. Well, yes, is how the community embraced Marvel's Avengers important? Yes, in terms of hard numbers. Embracer Group, remember, are a successful company. They're coming in. They bought Crystal Dynamics. They bought Eidos Montreal. They're going to see if Marvel Games will let them continue to license. So they're going to look at it like a business. Okay, what are the analytics looking like? How many people are playing the game? How many people are buying the skins? They're not going to pay too much attention to what I Hate Avengers 6969 on Reddit has to say on the matter. They want to look at the numbers. And I'm like, okay, how much did Square Enix incompetence contribute to this? You know, was Avengers in the black? That will determine whether or not they're going to continue to support Avengers going forward, or if they just let them ride out what they have left and move on. No Man's Sky never got sold. Bobo, I hate to break this to you. No Man's Sky did get sold because No Man's Sky is a video game. It is not a developer studio. So yes, it was sold many times. Please quit while you're behind. Saying subscribe to Side the Gamer. Game Marvel's Avengers dies out. I appreciate that. So the game's going to die? Nope. As we've been covering for the last couple hours, Marvel's Avengers transferred over from Square Enix when Embracer Group bought them. So they're just waiting to talk to Marvel Games and Disney to get the approval to continue with the license. Playing Avengers since beta, hoping the game lives on. Playing this morning. Same. Hold this. You're way better than you at Marvel's Avengers. There you can run circles around you. Bobo's getting dunked on. Yeah, I have no idea what Bobo's end game here is, other than to make us laugh, but I guess it's working. 2022 is the year we discover Avengers was really their friends along the way. It also could be the year that we discovered that Square Enix is really bad at managing games. Like it'd be absolutely hilarious if this time next year Avengers has made a massive comeback. Everyone's gonna be looking at Square Enix like, what are you doing? Well, we knew that, but a lot of people think of Square Enix. They're like, oh yeah, Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts. They're a great company. I think after this year, they're going to just be known as NFTs and Babylon's Fall. What's up, Cyber? Thank you for your videos. Got you and many of your friends in the Marvel's Avengers. Cross your fingers. I appreciate that. Avengers going to get the Anthem treatment. We are well past Anthem. Avengers can no longer get the Anthem comparisons because not only has Avengers outlived Anthem, it has gotten way more content than Anthem did. So definitely not Anthem. It is its own thing. But yeah, so basically to summarize, we still need a lot more information, but the Embracer Group has bought Eidos Montreal, Crystal Dynamics, and Square Enix Montreal for $300 million, which is an absolute steal. That gives them all their IPs like Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, Thief, Legacy of Kain. They said in a live stream that that Marvel's Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxy were transferred over as part of the deal. So Embracer does have those games and can continue them, but they need, obviously this deal needs to, the overall deal needs to be approved, which won't happen until July or September. Disney and Marvel have to sign off on Embracer Group continuing with the license. And regardless, Avengers has to keep going legally until September. So until more information is known, Avengers is definitely not dead. It is definitely still a thing, but we don't know exactly what the future is going to hold until Embracer Group meets with Marvel Games and figures out what they're going to do from there. But so until then, chill, because nothing's going to change really with Avengers. You're still going to get patch 2.4. You're still going to get patch 2.5. Probably still going to get She-Hulk. Most likely, since Embracer Group says they don't anticipate any resistance from Disney and Marvel, they at the very least let the game play out with the content they already had planned for the rest of the year into early 2023, or whenever they have Captain Marvel done, then they'll evaluate further. But optimistically, Embracer Group maybe sees the value of the biggest IP in the world and looks to optimize Marvel's Avengers in order to get some more profit out of it and keep it going. Regardless, we'll have to wait and see, because this is still pretty early. This news broke overnight, literally overnight. For me, I just happened to be up at like 3 a.m. and then I saw the story break. So pretty crazy stuff. Glad I waited for more info, but for now, Marvel's Avengers is safe at the very least until September. So keep playing the game, buying skins, whatever you want to do. It's still around. We'll see if the game actually makes a statement. Don't anticipate anything too soon, because they don't know themselves, because Marvel Games has to weigh in with Embracer. But until then, we'll be here. We'll be covering it. I'm going to go off now. Enjoy the rest of my birthday. If anyone needs to come in, find out what happened, what we covered, check out the VOD. I cover everything throughout. It's been a pretty good conversation. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. I'm Sadot the Gamer, signing out.